Well, hello! It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. But I really haven't been using very many, as you can probably tell from my face. But it's been 2 weeks, so I'm sure there's something new in this. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And if you have any comments about first-hand versus second-hand versus third-hand information, I would welcome your comments down below. So let's dive into the pens. So I didn't get around to doing the cards, but if you've been following the channel, you know I've been doing a bit of gardening, just a little bit this week, and been in the sun. And it's hot right now. We've got a thunderstorm going on, and I'm hotter than I've been all day because of the humidity. But anyway, so I didn't make my card for down here, but I'll get back to that next week. I've got one bed left to dig, and then I'm going to take it easy. So from left to right, I have my Nakaya Decapod Twist, Senator Silver Fox, because I don't have a proper name for it, so I'm nicknaming it. Pilot Custom 823, Wing Sung 699, and I switched them out. This one hasn't been written with for a few weeks since I filmed the first impression, actually. So I just want to see how well it's been holding a seal. Pilot Justus 95, Platinum 3776, Aurora 88, Vintage. I got one. Forgot what it's called. Pelikan M1000. No, M1000. Sorry, the M8000 is too big to transport from Germany. Parker Sonnet and the Lamy Dialogue 3. As always, I'll be doing my writing samples in my Bomo art journal. And I just looked down here at my preview screen and I realized that I have autofocus turned on this camera. So I guess we'll find out if that makes a difference. Looks like all my other settings are still manual. Just for some reason I'm doing autofocus. Weird. Alright, so let's do a writing sample. So my first pen in the lineup is almost empty, so I think the next time you see it, it will have a new ink in it. And I've already gotten some suggestions of some brown inks I could use. Ooh, I better pull out just a little. I've already gotten some suggestions about some brown inks that I could use in it, so I think that's the direction I'll go. This is my Nakaya Decapod Twist. I find it interesting when I type it into Evernote, which is the program where I do all my planning for these videos. It always tries to correct the spelling and make it Nakata. And that's interesting in part. Oh, it is humid, because look at the condensation there. Evaporating quickly, but yeah. This says Nakata on the nib. So, just kind of interesting. Also says squirrel on the section. For some reason. So, this is a Nakaya Decapod Twist. A Nakia. Of course, when I got it, I just had to have a soft, fine nib because I knew I liked it. This is just it's an expensive housing for a Platinum 3776 nib. Luckily, those are good nibs. Ink in it is Edelstein, Olivine. There's been a little discussion on the fountain pen forums just lately about the differences between the Edelstein and the regular 4001 inks. Now, my Edelstein collection is very limited, but I'm thinking next week maybe, because I will have more free time next week. The digging will be done and, the sun burning will be done, and I can get back to a little more normal schedule and have some more time to think about videos. and just kind of enjoy my garden. So I will look into putting something together for next week about that with my limited selection. All right, my next pen I nicknamed the Senator Silver Fox. This is definitely from the era of great Senator pens. I like it. Right now I'm using it as my daily writer. The Lamy 2000 ran out, and it's usually my practice in the summer to use some other pens as daily writers. So I thought that I'd give this one a spin. So it's probably from the 1970s. Nice, what would you call that, a semi-hooded nib? V? I don't know a name for it. And just kind of an interesting textured material. Senator Silver Fox. Not having any Senator ink handy, I filled it up with Lamy Black. I have just a bit of a bottle left, so since I'm focusing mostly on my liter of Pelikan ink, I thought, hey, let's just get rid of this bottle and use it up, and then I can put something else in the bottle. If you've been following me on Instagram, I had a post up. It's one of my last pens that I'll be showing tonight. Showing my hand stained green. I took it last night after I came in from digging, and my hands were a little sore and clumsy from digging, and this whole palm was green from the ink I spilled on it. This isn't the bottle I used. The bottle I used isn't handy, but it's the smaller version of this bottle. I only had the Dunkelgrün in it, and the nib on my M1000 just wouldn't fit in it. So I tried tipping it to the side to fill it, and of course I tipped it too much and ended up wearing a whole bunch. Kind of ruined my pajama pants and so on, but you wear them in the dark anyway, so who cares? All right, my next pen, that thunderstorm that we were warned was severe, passed us over. I don't think we got a drop of rain out of it, and looking outside, I just saw a lightning flash, but I see the setting sun, so that was a fail. I was hoping for a little moisture on top of my garden, but I guess not. I do have one bed left to dig, but I'm not in a hurry to do it. I'll do it. I don't know if you heard the thunder there. But anyway, it's still going. I like how the thunder here just kind of rolls across the countryside. It never sounded that way when I lived in Pennsylvania. But here, I guess it doesn't have mountains to block it, so it just rolls across the countryside. I noticed that as a kid, even going up to Canada, and we would vacation in an area that wasn't mountainous, and same kind of sound there. All right, so this is a Pilot Custom 823. Oh, now there's some rain coming down. I may just get up here. I'll edit it out, don't worry. I'm just going to go make sure nothing's coming in any windows. All right, had to close the window to the west and the window to the north. I only have one on each side of the house, so small house. All right, so this ink is Rohrer and Klingner. Oops, my holder deal just fell off. Rohrer and Klingner. Ooh, now it's coming down harder. Good thing I shut him when it just started. Aubergine. I actually really love if I can be on an enclosed porch, which my house doesn't have one, during a thunderstorm. I'm dry and safe. There's just something about it. When I build fantasy house, it's going to have I shouldn't say an enclosed porch, a porch with a roof on it. Because if it's enclosed, you don't have that feeling of being outdoors. Although the enclosed is nice in the case of mosquitoes, so I don't know. But anyway, just something I've always liked. Now this one gets me in trouble. I'm still getting comments about, reviewing a counterfeit pen on my review I did of this pen a few weeks ago. This is a Wingsung 699. And yeah, very clearly very close to that Pilot Custom 823. And that leads you into that whole gray area over what's copying, what's inspired by. Now, what I'm curious to find out is if this writes right away or if it needs some encouragement, because it's been sitting since I filmed that review, and I don't remember now when I did it. I did a whole bunch of them that day. Ooh, that's impressive. That's very impressive. Yeah, I didn't expect it to start right up. The ink in it, that's been a complaint I've had about a lot of the Chinese pens, is that they don't start right up. They dry out very quickly. Not this one. This is a good one. And I think I would have to understand Indian culture to understand this name, because Krishna, of course, is a Indian brand of ink. And I just am making no connection whatsoever with this name. Causal. And it's definitely a turquoise color. I like it. Not in the market for any more inks, but definitely have too many. But I do like that one. This is my Pilot Pilot Custom 95. No, Pilot Justus 95. Wow. Doing this too late at night again. Last time I filmed this, I promised to start hard and go soft. Wow. This is supposed to be a family channel. Okay. Sorry. Too late at night. Okay, so I'm going to have it. It's an adjustable nib, so I have it adjusted to hard for the name of the pen, and then I'll adjust it to soft for the name of the ink. So, really, what this changes the most, as far as I can feel, is just the feel of the nib. It doesn't change its heart. Well, I guess it changes the results in the paper a little bit, but not a whole lot. Wall Eversharp actually had a... I hope this is the right ink. It's not. Of course it's not. Sailor Jentle Grenat. Anyway, Wall Eversharp had something like this decades ago. But you won't see people accusing Pilot of stealing. Although I'm old enough to remember when the Japanese makers of things were accused of that quite regularly. Now it's China. And we seem to have some other issues, some of which China fully deserves and some of which are unfair, that we're dealing with China right now. Okay, and then I have a Platinum 3776 with a soft, fine nib. This is the one with the Callifolio Grenat. And hey! Now I remember I set these side by side so I could compare the colors. All right. Sometimes I do things right. Ooh, I can tell this is a darker, maybe more purpley color. Platinum 3776. Soft fine. And that's part of my problem, is I see these subtle differences between the colors, but really, do the people who get my letters, or, most of my writing is actually for my own purposes, do they even notice the difference? I don't know, but that's how I ended up with way too much ink in my house. Yeah, this is definitely a little purpler. More purple. Sorry. I grammared badly there. All right, this is an Aurora 88. Vintage. I do like the modern one. I just happen to like the vintage one a lot better. Aurora has brought back a updated version, not so much of this, but of the student version of this. It's the Duo Cart. I do own one. I should get it out. Apparently they've done some upgrades on the model. I haven't looked at that. I do like one of the colors on the updated version, but I don't need to buy another Aurora Duo Cart just because I like the green color on one of them. So I won't be adding another one to my collection, but I'm glad I have the one I do. So maybe I'll have to get that out next week. I can see here that, well, I know this pen, the Nakaya, is going to be empty. I don't know about the rest. I haven't really checked. Who knows? This next pen might be empty by then because, oops, forgot the cross-hatching. This next pen is sprays the ink all over the page. I filmed one of my garden videos because I was just being lazy, filming them and editing them on the phone because I can do that in just a few minutes. I was going to come into bed, but I thought, well, I want to write a little bit. I didn't do much writing. I was so tired. I just went to bed, but I was using this pen to write, and it's a lot of fun. This is a Pelikan M1000. I've had it for a few months. I just released a video this week. But yeah, I've had it for a few months. And it's been fun. I just haven't been able to show it because it hasn't appeared on the channel yet. And there's why it's fun. This nib is wonderful. Part of me does wish, I will admit, that I'd gotten a fine, but the fine at the time was a lot more expensive. But just check this out next to the Pilot 823. This is just a monster of a nib. The ink in it is Pelikan 4001 Dunkelgrün, dark green. And yeah, that monster nib could barely fit in the bottle, and I had to tip the bottle to the side. Somebody in the comments was saying that the Pelikan nib, or the Pelikan bottles are badly designed, and I don't know, they're a classic shape, but yeah, when the ink gets low in them, then you have a problem. I like the ones that have a reservoir or a cone-shaped thing, like like this one had. Oh, you can't see it now because I slopped the ink around getting it down. But this has you can barely make it out. There's a reservoir inside, so you can get almost every last drop. Or the Lamy bottles have a nice deep well in them. I like that. I was told I should use the Pineider traveling inkwell. That's kind of like the Visconti, except it's Pineider. So I may do that. My next pen is a pen I've been using to put addresses on envelopes. I also recently voted with it. We have, in North Dakota, we don't have voter registration, which is concerning to some people. But so every eligible voter got sent an application for a mail-in ballot. So I applied for a mail-in ballot and voted by mail. So when our primary gets here, it's too late to worry about who I'm voting for a presidential candidate because that ship's already sailed because we caucused for that. But I put in my, for the primary well, you have, since we don't have registration, I'm not registered for a party, but you can only vote for the candidates of one party, which I did, on one side of the ballot. And then the other side of the ballot is all the non-party elections like school board and so on. Uh-oh. And so anyway, I used this pen and this ink, if I can get it writing here. Ah, boy. There we go. Like I said, I haven't been writing much this week. So, may have to write a page or two with this after I'm done filming. It's a Parker Sonnet with a fine. It's a gold nib. And, I was talking about our election. So anyway, I voted with this. And then the other side of the ballot has all the non-party elections like school board and mayor, city council, county commissioners, and so on. And then there's a couple of state offices that are not partisan. This is a nice black. I think I could be happy using this one as my daily use black, except this one requires a lot more maintenance than like a Pelikan or a Lamy or a Parker black. So that's why I don't use this one. This is one of those nano inks. So I'll usually just have it in one pen to do addresses and things because it's pretty waterproof. And I decided to vote with it because it's going to be hard to mess with it if that ever happens. Not that I'm too worried, because there's not much voter fraud in this country, to be honest. We have a pretty good system that way. All right, my last pen, as you saw, is retractable. The pilots are all sleeping. They're not used up by any means, and I just got bored with them because I don't like them. This is the one I like the best of the three I have. The Platinum Kuridas got sent back to Dan Smith of the Nib Smith, and he's going to contact Platinum, and hopefully at some point I'll get a replacement. I better, but I'm not worried. So, for now, I don't have a Platinum Kuridas. This is Iroshizuku Kon-peki. I did purchase one thing recently that I felt was worth it. So we'll see if you can figure out why I bought this one. I'm not going to tell you, but there may be a reason that this mask just really appealed to me. I'll leave you to figure out that reason. All right, now we'll see if autofocus does any good. I'm going to take a sip here. It's just herbal tea. It's actually blueberry tea. I don't want caffeine this late at night, so, but didn't talk at all today, and I could tell during this video my throat needed a lot of clearing that I have to edit out now when I edit the video together. But anywho, so those are the pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. I wanted to just discuss a couple of quick things this week. One of them was based on a few comments I've been getting from on a few of my videos. I just thought I should remind everybody what my first impression videos are about. That is the first time I write with a pen. Now, I've probably taken it out and looked it over. If it's a vintage pen, I've definitely taken it out and cleaned it. I don't always do that with new pens, but, but it's the first time I write with it. So the problem with a first impression is I don't have any experience with the pen. Now, it's a chance to throw out the pen, gives me, shows you a record of my first feelings when I hold it and use it. And hopefully when I come back, maybe years later, and do an actual review on the pen, you'll be able to compare the two and say, oh, yeah, your opinion of that really changed. Now, the ones I really hate probably will never get a review. They'll just never be heard from again. But it's not the same as a review. Reviews I usually research and plan out and everything. First impressions, other than having a format set up, I don't plan at all. It's just I go. So, just remember that that's what a first impression is. It can change. What I think is horrible may turn out to be really good. or I don't care, as it turns out. Or a pen I really like, I may later on discover an annoyance. Or, I did a Keiko Edge. I think it was the Keiko Edge. I filmed a very flattering first impression, then the damn cap broke. So, just split. So, that my opinion of that pen changed very quickly. Right now, the M1000 I'm still liking very much, so I think we're good on that one. But yeah, sometimes opinions change. One of my early ones, I really knocked down the Platinum 3776, but as it turns out, it's one of the pen models I really like now. So yeah, opinions just change. I thought I should also, now we're 2 weeks later, but I still think it's a topic worth bringing up. I think I should address the Platinum Kuridas again. When I filmed my first impression, I showed that there was a crack in the feed. And that sucked, all the joy out of that video. I couldn't even tell you if I liked the writing experience anymore, because crack. But I got, and of course I was put onto that by somebody who responded to me through email asking if I'd seen any cracks. And I'm just like, what? So I looked, and yeah, I had a crack. So if it hadn't been for that person, who knows how long it would have taken for me to notice the crack. But anyway, I did notice it. So sent back, and I've already gone through that story. But the reason I'm bringing that up, I can't find too much about the cracking out there. I can't find any reputable sources. What I find are people like me saying, oh, here's a photograph of my crack. And, oh, God, I teach teenagers. I'm usually better at this. It's too late at night. Sorry. Okay. But anyway, people putting up photographs of the injury to their feed. But what I also was getting was comments saying some retailers are reporting as many as 50% of their feeds are coming back cracked. And so my question is, well, which retailer? I haven't seen that posted. I'm not seeing any firm first-hand information. I'm getting hearsay that, my brother's uncle told me that this retailer's one salesman said that. It's not first-hand. So I don't know how widespread the cracking is. It could be just a few people, and we are just vocal about it. I mean, I have a thread I started on Fountain Pen Network where I talked about it, showed my pictures. But how widespread is it? I don't know. And that's what I want to point out is you have to be careful of hearsay. And I'm saying hearsay, not heresy. Heresy is a religious thing. This isn't a religious channel. Okay, could get into that, but I'm off on a rabbit trail. But it's hearsay is okay. Primary sources are right from the horse's mouth. So me saying, this is how the pen feels for me. This is a picture of the crack in the feed. Those would all be primary sources. Me saying to you, well, I saw Stephen Brown's video where he talked about the Kuridas and his didn't have a crack. Well, okay, but you're hearing it through me. I don't think he's actually done a video on the Kuridas, but I'm not certain of that. I've been off YouTube a lot this week too. And the further you get from the original source, the worse it gets. Watch out for things that are claimed without sources. I should probably edit all of what I just said down. That's where I'm headed to. If you give me the source and I'm like, is that really true that 50% of the Kuridas pens have cracks in their feed? And I've got a source for that claim. I can go find out that, oh, this was said by Goulet Pens, or, oh, this is just something they saw on Twitter. Then you know. Anyway, just be careful of anecdotes. Well, my mom, who cares? I want to know facts. I want measured. I want numbers. Yes, you can play with the numbers, but anecdotes are just stories used to illustrate the numbers. So, there's where I'm at with the Kuridas, for what it's worth. One other topic I just wanted to bring up, and we'll see how much trouble I get into, and how quickly this is outdated. So I started, before I got tired, outlining this pens in use thing, and I always, if you look at the video description, you can always see what I'm preparing on Evernote. And so I wrote on it in quotes, and for those in Minnesota, stay safe. So I am thinking of my neighbors in Minnesota as they protest over the execution of a man for counterfeit money, apparently. But now it is not just Minnesota. We even had a little bit of action here in North Dakota, in Fargo. It is spread all over. Yes, only one man kneeled on George Floyd's neck, but 3 others stood by and said nothing. Okay, so in editing this, I cut out about 20 minutes of comments there. Too much speculation in it and not enough facts, which totally undermined my comments earlier. I do have some opinions about all this, but spouting off when you don't know is part of the problem. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just editing it out. But I just want all those protesting, because there are some legitimate grievances here, to keep safe. And, all the bad actors out there who are damaging property, don't, because that's now the focus, rather than a man executing somebody for counterfeit money. So, anyway, thought I would throw that in there instead of my big 20-minute rant. Anyway, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And do you have any comments about primary versus secondary versus tertiary sources, or when each one should be listened to? How to know how reliable a statistic you hear actually is? I would welcome those down in the comments. I think you've seen I have a upcoming project related to, statistics and experts and things. You hear more about it when I get some more free time, because when I can slow down with the garden here. So, I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.